All right, I'm Mike White. I own breathing.com. We've been studying breathing for about 25 years. And what this is about, detecting and correcting obvious and hidden breathing-related energy dysfunction. Obvious and hidden breathing-related energy dysfunction. Your breathing kind of slips away. We don't know it's going. By the time we're diagnosed with some kind of a lung issue, we've lost about half the breathing. So what's going on between half and 100%? So I've been gathering data, statistics, creating programs around that. So to the degree your breathing mechanics and chemistry is compromised is the degree which every system in the human body is at risk. Every system. Breathing is your primary source of energy, oxygen. It also drives the nervous system. It also keeps us in touch with ourselves. People that have aberrated breathing patterns are out of touch, and you've seen them, you've met them, you've worked with them, and they're kind of like not there, or very more subtly, they can't stay with you. Do you know the average person reaches peak respiratory function in their 20s? They begin to lose capacity between 9 and 25% every decade. Okay, so unless we're doing something to maintain your breathing, we're going to lose it. If you don't use it, you'll lose it. You all know about exercising. Breathing is no different. Breathing is the primary thing you want to focus on exercising. You don't even have to move to do it a lot of good. (5,200 person, this is the Framingham study, proved that pulmonary function measurement is an indicator of general health and vigor, literally the primary measure of potential lifespan. This is a very well-kept secret. It's the Framingham study, 5,200 people over 30 years from 1951 to 1981, proved it. There was a crossover study from 72 to about 99, proved the same thing. It's not going to change. Your breathing is your primary source of energy. And we're talking about breathing, the ingredients of breathing. We're talking about the nutritional factors of breathing as well. So, how many people have unhealthy breathing habits? They hold their breath, breathe in high chest, shallow, irregular manner. These typical breathing patterns trigger physiological and psychological, there's that automatic thing again, stress and anxiety reactions. So what we want to do is consider this. Consider the possibility that how many of you have sought or considered seeking assistance from a health professional the last year? Right? How many of you were alerted by your healthcare professional possibility that breathing was an issue? Just about zip, unless you have asthma or pulmonary disease of some sort, and then which you've lost 50% of your breathing. So what we've done over the years is glean several skills of breathing. How do you measure whether your breathing's getting better or worse? How do you know from moment to moment, day to day? Do you wait to go spend $2,000 on an MRI? Can you just do some very simple breathing skills that give you a sense of how good your breathing is? And so, there you go. So, one of these skills we discovered was a number count. And we'll do that. So just take a big deep breath and count up to as high a number as you can get to on one breath. I'll demonstrate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. If you get to 100, you start over at 0. So let's try that. Does everybody stand? See what your number count is. Right? Take a big deep breath. Put your hands in front. Put your hands in front so you can hear your voice, right? Then take a big deep breath and count up to as high a number as you can get to on that one breath. You want it quick, quiet, clean, and clear. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay? Go ahead, everybody go. And count. And when you finish, just sit down. Got a few champion breathers in the room. Keep it up. Keep it up. Make sure you're not sneaking in a breath. You know, Mike Guido's watching you. You know, come back to haunt you. All right, so what we discovered with this number count, people will take the test on our website. We've had 85,000 people take the tests. And what we learned was that, we say, okay, here's your skill, how high a number can get to, then how many diagnosed illnesses do you have? And so what we learned was that the people with very high number counts had very few diagnosed illnesses. Very low number counts had a lot of diagnosed illnesses. You get up to 150, cancer wasn't even included. Nobody listed cancer that scored above 150. Score below 50, you have a whole long list of diagnosed illnesses that you had there. So we were able to focus on just about every diagnosed illness there is and do statistics on them and get a sense of how more important breathing was. We knew it. Your longevity was key too, but what about day-to-day health? Well, you know, it makes sense that if you stay healthy longer, then there's an implied breathing health. So if you focus on breathing, take care of your breathing, and generally the rest of your body is going to be in a lot better shape. The breathing pause extension, resting pause rate, sleep quality, all these questions and answers are in the breathing tests. So take the breathing tests. They're free. They're on breathing.com. Just take the breathing test, and you learn what you learn. There's a lot of recommended programs and products and insights in the test. You get them for nothing. So after working with our system, your breathing will be easier, stronger, smoother, bigger, greater, deeper, with a huge increase. There is not an adequate vocabulary for breathing. It doesn't exist. Easier, stronger, smoother, bigger, greater, deeper. Those are all key words that are in our breathing kit. There's a lot more that you need to learn about the kinesthetic values of breathing, how you think of it, how it feels. You can't read about breathing and learn it. How many of you can read about chocolate and know what it tastes like? Could never happen, right? So you have to feel breathing. You have to experience it. Well, if you don't know what it feels like, then anybody can come along and tell you what it feels like, and you'll have to believe them. So what we've done is worked around that in the sense that there are techniques in breathing that you just know are right, because they usually come with a state of calm and ease and relaxation. That's really the underpinning of the foundation of breathing, is calm, relaxation. And so the techniques, we've got about 35 breathing exercises and a few key techniques in the breathing kit that we have here. And I'm also doing a few assessments, and people that buy a breathing kit, I'll work on them for 10, 15 minutes and kind of give them a kickstart, give them the sense of what chocolate tastes like, the chocolate of breathing. What it tastes like, what it feels like, how it sounds, the strength of it. Which breathing skills correlate with less or complete lack of 135 illnesses? How to develop these skills. They're simple, they're easy. It's just an everyday kind of thing for 15, 20, 30 minutes. Okay, you did it again. Okay, your breathing can drive your nervous system somewhere between optimal function and complete disaster. Is this Macy's? Was that our 1-cent sale? Erratic, dangerous driving, such as with a 3-year-old child at the wheel of a fast-moving car, skilled race car driver, sickness, disease, and death. Your breathing drives your nervous system. It drives it. It drives it into states of calm. It drives it into states of hyperventilation, excitation, nervousness, anxiety. You can even breathe bad enough to want to kill yourself. And people do. We don't think of it as the driver, but it is. We don't think of it as the cause, but hyperventilation is a huge, very big deal. Stress, you think about stress. Okay, but what does stress really mean? How does stress manifest in your body? It screws your breathing up. It makes it shallow, it distorts it, makes it high chest. I told one fellow, I says, I can train you to walk calmly through the gates of hell. He said, that wasn't exactly on my agenda. But we do have days like that, don't we? Sometimes, you know. So get in the ideas of martial arts, but soft style martial arts, or operatic training, classical voice. And you get more in touch with the feel of breathing, the foundation of breathing. Okay, overbreathing. Overbreathing sounds like you're breathing too much. Now, I think most people in the room here are going to say, but breath is life. What do I worry about breathing too much, having too much life? It's not about the amount, it's about the pattern. What we want to do is, okay, overbreathing. This is what overbreathing or hyperventilation causes. Neurological syndromes, psychomotor disturbance, look at the emotional reactivity, performance anxiety, psychiatric syndromes, overbreathing, psychological stress symptoms, cardiovascular symptoms, vascular, gastric. But this is the laundry list of what bad breathing invites. That's it. Which is everything. Bad breathing will cause or worsen everything. Cause or worsen everything. There's nothing that it misses. It's the driver. So what you need to do is, it's like, your breathing is like a team of horses. You know, you want to put some kind of control in the front horse and the rest of the team will follow. You know, so you basically guide your nervous system with your breathing. You're guided. Acute senses, blurred vision, dry mouth, psychological shifts, memory distress, hallucination, self-esteem, cognition, yada, yada, consciousness, feelings of otherworldly, peripheral trembling, twitching, and shivering, muscles tetany. You know, this is what you need to think about when you think about breathing. There's all the various things that can go wrong or made worse by a bad breathing pattern. So it's a skill. Breathing's a skill. It's like driving a car. It can be developed. That's what the kit's about. 35 exercises and 5 techniques around how to develop breathing. Back breath, belly breath, side breath, rib breath, the whole thing. How's it feel? How's it sound? Leading edge health professionals work with a lot of breath. But any negative emotion you can train yourself to breathe through will lose its grip on you. Any negative emotion you can train yourself to breathe through will lose its grip on you. Now, we've got some soldiers coming back from nasty bits of war where that takes a long time. But the idea is to keep them breathing and keep them in a surrounding where they don't act out, they don't do negative things to themselves and others long enough to where they begin to breathe through that terror that we have no idea what they went through. No clue, you know, but just we've got to support them big time in breathing through that slowly to the degree that they can tolerate it, but slowly over time, give them safe space. And so everybody else is kind of being, not everybody, but a lot of people can be in the same situation where they had trauma in their life, you know, and you can breathe through it. You just have to do it in a proper way. If you do it in a high chest way, you're going to go crazy. If you can manage to do it parasympathetically and keep that that grounded dominance in your breathing, you can get through it over time. It might take a day, a week, a month, a year, don't know. Depends on how bad it was. But the key is to maintain the groundedness and the consistency and the pattern, and you'll get through it. Without which life can be hell. So you can manage your attitudes, responses, challenging situations, golden opportunities in your life. A lot of secrets in the way you breathe. Spiritual principles are a big deal. They're really important. You all know that. Okay? That begins to guide our energy. You know, energy follows thought. But thought also follows energy. So if your breathing pattern is out of whack, so is your consciousness. Your breathing pattern is out of balance, so is your consciousness. So this has gotten out of order somehow, but all right. So we talked about 85,000 free breathing tests. We have the breathing skill levels correlate with a complete absence of hypochondria, cancer, circulation problems, glandular organ disorders, respiratory problems. A lot of people I think they're hypochondriacs. You know, they think they're just making stuff up. They go to a doctor and say, there's nothing wrong with you, when it's a breathing pattern disorder. Most medical doctors don't understand anything about breathing pattern disorder, which is what we're talking about. And so they think it's in their head, when it really is their breathing is driving them literally crazy, or out of sorts, or inconsistent. Okay, so what we've seen is the range of improvement of the disease spans 44 to 86%. Anxiety is the big one. Anxiety is one of the major changes you make when your breathing gets better. It's anxiety. And like I said, the main thing that you want to think of when in terms of breathing changes is a sense of calm, sense of relaxation. Look at this high chest breather. There's his role model. You know, I'm a man. You know, I'm going to take care. I'm going to save the world. What do you think his odds are? Right? So this is a model for somebody who is constantly on the alert, never can relax. And it's called Superman syndrome. So sleep. Okay, so what your primary source of energy is breathing. Primary source of energy recovery is sleep. When you improve your breathing, you almost always improve your sleep. So optimal breathing is a developable skill. Develop it, maintain it, use it. If you don't use it, you'll lose it. The mastery kit's the key. I've worked on it 15 years. A couple $100,000 worth of videos, exercises, techniques. And it works. So the mantra is, breath is life. Study the breath for life. Stay with it. Come back to it. Come back to the breath. 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 There's a lot of people that focus on breathing and can't stop focusing on breathing. They become obsessed with it. That's a problem. Finding that state of calm is the key. State of calm. Get rid of the monkey mind. Get back into state of calm. And then you'll be able to get through whatever you need to get through. Taking action, develop your breathing for relaxation, energy and sleep, mental focus, self-esteem, peak performance. Improve nutrition, internal cleansing. All that's included in the Optimal Breathing Kit. One of the books in there is called Building Healthy Lungs Naturally. Techniques, exercise, ergonomics. So people that get a kit today, I'm going to work on them. Got about 15 minutes a person. I'm going to work on them, and you're going to notice a huge difference. There's one woman I worked on yesterday. Her nasal patches are all blocked up. Changed her breathing, and her nasal patches have opened up. Now, how odd is that? But it happens a lot, because when you breathe up in the chest like Superman, you vasoconstrict. So everything upward gets tighter. So when you begin to breathe where you're supposed to, it all vasodilates and things start to open up. You start to relax. Things start to flow better. Your energy starts to flow better. Mucous membranes flow better. Visit our booth, get a mastery kit, and receive a free 15-minute private session. That's today. We also Skype. People come to Charlotte, North Carolina, work on me one-on-one. We work on voice a lot. When you work with breathing, the way you maintain your breathing is to integrate your voice, because your voice and your breathing are interdependent. You can't hold your breath and speak or sing. So what I found was that testing the voice for strength was a really good way to begin to measure improvement in breathing. It was also a really good way to measure the ability to maintain the breathing. If you use your breathing, if you use your voice incorrectly, you're going to backslide your breathing, and vice versa. Use your breathing incorrectly, you backslide your voice. They're interdependent. You could say codependent. They're interdependent. So the integration, so the kit has various exercises around developing the voice. I've worked with spasmodic dysphonia, which is a serious speech disorder, and get very good results with it. Stuttering. Breathing is the foundation to speaking. Get the foundation right, and then the rest of it comes a lot easier. If the foundation's wrong, there's no stability. So I worked with Italian vowel sounds the other day. That was really fun. One of the biggest problems with speaking in English is diphthongs. You can learn what they are later, but anyway. This is, I don't know where everybody, the cameraman, I don't know what happened to the cameraman, but any questions? Let's go open up a few questions. Yeah.
Mike, could you tell us your story, how you got involved with...
Come up closer, because by the way, there's a story about this guy comes up with a $30,000 hearing aids, brand new. He says, this is incredible. He says, this is the best thing I can really hear well with. The guy says, what kind is it? And he says, 1230. That guy was me. I have an implant here, so come up here, Yeah, and ask the question. And if anybody else wants to question, just come on up. Yeah, what's the question?
Could you tell us your story, how you got involved with breathing and what made this your passion?
I wanted to get my singing voice back. When I was 11 years old, I sang a cappella for the school. I was the only one chosen. And then at age 12 and 13, I had a father who beat me with a police belt a lot as I was growing a foot. And so I kind of grew up in a hurricane. My body was all twisted inside, and basically making any kind of sound much louder than okay was terrifying. And I couldn't sing anymore. So age 35, I decided I wanted to get my singing voice back. I had no clue about singing, speaking, energy, emotions, nothing. I just wanted to get my singing voice back. And I took 156 consecutive singing lessons. That's 156, right? And 156 therapy sessions. And I still couldn't sing worth a damn. So I kind of gave up on that and studied singing, here and there for the next 20 years. Now it's in the 90s, and I'm in my 50s, and I'm still wanting to sing better, more. can't do it, and I finally began to learn about breathing. And breathing really began to open me up. And then the next thing I did was join a rock Christian choir up in Asheville. That allowed me to open up. There's a freedom, an openness that you need to be able to sing well, to sing strong, to sing easily. And so that was the beginning of me opening up. And so that's why I work a lot with singers and speakers and just anybody with a breathing pattern disorder. We just joined a pediatric neurology clinic to work with a lot with children with ADHD and autism and stuff like that, because their breathing is wacko. You know, it's just, and how do you stabilize it? You know, you can't talk to them. So there's tricks around doing that, but you also have to stabilize the parents because they're in training the kids. You know, the breathing patterns problems with the parents are being transferred to the kids and vice versa, so the whole family has to be handled. So anyway, I think we're out of time, and that's it. So you come by, get a kit, and we'll take it from there. All right? Thank you.